It's 8:34. Jimmy Sengenberger back with you on Business for Breakfast, KDMT, Denver's Money Talk, 1690 AM. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at the markets and how things are looking. Pretty good on the Dow, up 62.5 points. The NASDAQ up 2. The S&P 500 is up one lonely point in green territory, though. The VIX, the volatility index, that so-called fear gauge, is at 9.66 right at the moment. And why don't we take one more look at how the stocks we've been following are performing. Mixed bag for the AAA stocks we watch. Alphabet, the parent company of Google, is in the red, as is Amazon, but Apple is in the green. Also, in the red, Sears and Tesla. Tesla down 1.6%. Let's look in the green here. Chipotle, Equifax, despite the fact that we learned 2.5 million more people this morning were hacked in that massive hack of what is now 145.5 million people. Facebook in the green, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Netflix, Snap, and Twitter and Disney, all in the green at this very moment. That's our last look at the stocks that we're following this morning. So there's a lot that is going on, of course, in the world today, a lot that affects you on a daily basis. And the bottom line for you in making decisions on your financial life, whether it's your job, your investments, your wallet, or, of course, your life at home, your home life. Maybe it's getting a home and a mortgage, different things that relate to your finances for yourself and your family. There's, of course, always that circumstance where you might be looking for a mortgage. Maybe you've got certain circumstances that make it a bit more of a challenge to get a mortgage. Well, there's a company out there that does a great job at helping you to achieve a special circumstance loan. And that is, of course, the folks at SCL Mortgage. And Larry Jaeger is the man behind SCL Mortgage. I'm very pleased to have him here in studio to talk about some of the things that they do over there and, of course, his background. And a great story, great family man, and just an all-around good guy. We had coffee a couple of weeks back, and we're just chatting about a variety of different things, and wanted to bring him here in studio to have a conversation. So good morning, Larry. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jimmy. Good to be here. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your background and what's going on. Who's Larry?
Well, Larry was born and raised in North Dakota, a small farm in the middle of nowhere. And when I got out of school, I thought that I wanted to go to California and, play on the beach for a year or two and then probably come back to the Midwest. And I met a guy in a health club who said that I should come to work with him. I'd be really good in the mortgage business. And I said, well, I got this mechanical engineering thing going on and I'm pretty happy. And he was pretty persistent. So one day I picked up the phone, called him and said, okay, I'm coming to work with you. And turns out I was there for 13 years, and it was good. It was really, really good. I loved the mortgage business, got to cut my teeth on it, so to speak, learned it from A to Z. Of course, started out as a loan officer, and over the course of 13 years, I built a retail loan department inside of this large bank-owned mortgage company. To the tune of about $20 million a month. So it was crazy successful and had a great time. And then in, 1995, they sold the company. So my wife and I moved to Colorado. And then I thought that I was needing a break from the mortgage business. So I started a commercial finance company, ran that for a few years and then sold my interest. And then in 2000, realizing that I missed the mortgage business, my wife and I started another company and grew it to pretty substantial. We were closing $40 million a month in loans and selling them off to the Wall Street firms, and things were really good until 2008. And then, if you remember, the world sort of fell apart. So that was those were tough times. But you pick yourself up and you kick yourself in the behind and you do it again. So 3.5 years ago, we started this company called SCL Mortgage. And we picked that name for a specific reason, Jimmy, and I'll tell you about that. We do all the loans that everybody else does, the conventional, traditional, fixed rate, FHA, VA, all those loans that everybody does. But we also do about 30% of our business comes from what we call special circumstance loans. So we saw a niche that nobody else was covering or maybe overlooking for all the people out there that are self-employed. They don't necessarily show a lot of income on their tax returns. Doesn't mean they're not good people. Doesn't mean they're not good borrowers. They have good credit, but they've been shut out of the traditional financing box. The big banks or the big lenders may say you just don't show any income on your tax return, so we can't approve you. Well, we take a different approach to that customer. We say, let us see your bank statements for 24 months. We'll total the deposits, divide it by 24, and that becomes their income. So now the self-employed borrower is able to get good financing. Now, I have to tell you that those interest rates are slightly higher than traditional rates, but not crazy high. And most importantly, people can get loans to buy a house for their family or refi to take some cash out. So that's a big part of the special circumstance loans. We also do loans for people that have had that life event, be it a short sale, a bankruptcy, a foreclosure. But the traditional guidelines are that you can't get into a mortgage unless you've had 3 years on that bankruptcy or 5 years on that foreclosure. Well, we shorten that time frame substantially as long as they have a down payment and they've reestablished some credit. So we have a number of loan programs for just about everybody out there, assuming that, they have those 3 criteria. So about 30% of our business is the special circumstance loan. So life is good for us, and we're happy to be here and happy to help out all these people in Colorado that need financing.
We'll talk more about the special circumstance loan and the opportunities that you offer folks at SCL Mortgage in a moment. Larry Jaeger, our guest here on Business for Breakfast. But I want to go back to your early days for a moment in the mortgage business, talking about being a loan officer in a cubicle and that sort of environment. What did you learn there, and what kind of a lesson did you learn that would motivate you later on to wanting to be an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a great question. I have to think about that for a second. It was pretty interesting in the company that I started with. I think I shared a cubicle with a guy in a broken chair, but the business just clicked with me for some reason. I've always liked real estate. I like finance, and probably most importantly, it might sound cliche, but it's fun to help people. This is a really big deal for people when you borrow $200,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 to get your family into a house. That's a big deal. So I wanted to know these guidelines inside and out. So if somebody asked me if we could help them, I wanted to know if I could, and then we're going to get the loan done. So that was sort of the what got my adrenaline pumping, if you will, the ability to help people and get them into a house or satisfy whatever their financial needs or concerns are. And then I guess having been fairly successful at it, that took me to the next step and thought, okay, well, I can do this and I can start a company and I can build it if I can find people with the same culture, the same mindset, the same sort of work ethic that I got when I was growing up on a farm. So it all came together and it worked out really well for us.
Talk to me about the trials and tribulations and also the joys of being an entrepreneur, of running your own business, because obviously you're offering a quality service and doing good work for people to be able to provide them with opportunities to own homes and do so much more than that. But you're going through the grind day in and day out of running a business. And this show obviously is Business for Breakfast, so we're so much about running a business and what that's like. I want to know what the experience is like for you after all these many years of running businesses.
Well, we have never been the kind of company that went out and raised, millions and millions of dollars of capital to start it. We've always started it with our own funds, limited as they may have been. So when you do that, you're the first one into the office. You're the last one to leave the office. You're the guy taking out the trash at the end of the day. You're the guy putting together the culture of the company, the product line that you want to offer, the medium in which you're going to offer it. And it's, it's not for everybody, but it was definitely for me. And fortunately, my wife is sort of built the same way that I am, and we work together today as we have for a long time. She's very good at some things that I'm not very good at, and hopefully vice versa. So it's a challenging experience, but it's one that I wouldn't trade for anything.
What's your vision of customer service?
Customer service, especially in the mortgage world, is picking up the phone, talking to the customer, or if it happens to go into a voicemail, getting back to that customer very quickly. If you think about it in the mortgage world, you're not going to a department store to buy a pair of pants or go to get your oil changed. You're talking about a 30, 45-day process, pretty intense, can be pretty emotional, can be a roller coaster. So it's really, really important in our eyes that we're available to our customers. We're responsive to their questions. They may think they're silly. We don't. It's the first time for a lot of people. And the other thing is that I think we want to touch our customers at least 2, maybe 3 times a week. Because can you imagine if you're trying to buy a house and you're supposed to close in 3 weeks and you're having coffee with your spouse on Saturday morning and one says to the other, "Have you heard from our loan officer?" "No, I haven't. I don't know what's going on." That's not a good thing. So we make sure we touch our customers every either Thursday or Friday so they know what's going on over the weekend. And it's a simple, every customer is just as important as every other one, and everyone, we treat them like they are our only customer.
It's about building that relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well put. It's all about that.
And it's so important, especially for every business to be building that relationship when you're in a line of work that requires cultivating a relationship, but especially when you're talking about something that is so deeply personal and so important, especially when we're talking about somebody that's buying a house and putting so much of their livelihoods on the line.
Right. So. We've done loans for friends and customers and people that called us and they ended up becoming friends 2 and 3 and 4 times. We've done loans for their kids. We've done loans for their relatives. So, our motto, Jimmy, is everybody leaves the closing table happy, and that is of utmost importance to us. So, a customer that leaves the closing table happy is going to tell somebody else, whether they're taking their kids to soccer on Saturdays or baseball or whatever the case is. If somebody has a good experience, they want to talk about it. They want to tell you about it. Of course, if it's not a good experience, they'll probably talk about that too. But everybody is wanting to be helpful, right? So if you have a good experience with somebody, you're going to tell your friends because, you should call my guy. He was really good. Yeah. That's exactly what we want.
We're talking with Larry Jaeger. He is with SCL Mortgage. What's your title? President?
That's correct.
President of SCL Mortgage at myspecialmortgage.com. They do tremendous work there. And when we come back here on Business for Breakfast, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the circumstances that folks come up with and some of the questions that you may encounter when you're going through the mortgage lending process and so forth as we continue here on Business for Breakfast. Again, with our friend Larry Jaeger with SCL Mortgage, myspecialmortgage.com here on Business for Breakfast. KDMT, Denver's Money Talk, 1690 AM. Jimmy Sengenberger back with you, wrapping up and winding down this Tuesday, October 3rd edition of Business for Breakfast. Thanks for joining us and being a part of the program. We're talking with Larry Jaeger. He is president of SCL Mortgage, myspecialmortgage.com. Their phone number 303-790-2222. Larry, we've been talking a lot about kind of your business and your philosophy about customer service and your background and what you've done as far as entrepreneurship and kind of building up the company. I want to talk a little bit about some specifics of giving out loans and or working through the loan process, as it were. One of the things that is a very important question, and we were talking about this during the break, and I want to start here, is what are the 3 most important things that come about in getting a loan that people really need to keep in mind?
That is a great question. Great question, Jimmy. There are three components or three questions that everybody asks, whether we're doing a special circumstance loan, whether we're doing a traditional 30-year Fannie Mae loan. One is FICO score. So obviously, the better the FICO score, the better the interest rate, the more programs, the more options available to you. Now, I will tell you that we are able to go down to a 580 FICO score. Of course, that's going to require more equity in your house, likely. It's going to require good income to debt ratios. But the FICO score is a really important thing in any loan. If people have had some issues, some medical collections, maybe a foreclosure, maybe a bankruptcy, we may not be able to help them today, but we can always give them advice. If you did this and this, then maybe we can help you in 6 months, or maybe it's a year. So the FICO score is very important. The other thing that's important is the amount of the down payment if you're buying a house.
Right.
We have programs, actually, if you have a 720 FICO score and income, you can get into a house with 1% down. So talk about leveraging your money. That is huge. So it's the down payment. And if somebody's refinancing, then we look at the equity that they have in their house. Now, fortunately, in Colorado, we've seen so much appreciation over the past 4, 5, 6 years that just about everybody has equity in their house. So a lot of people are refinancing, taking some of that equity out, paying off student loans, paying off high interest rate credit cards, maybe buying a new car. Lots of reasons to refi and take out some equity. So there's equity or down payment. And the third is the income to debt ratios. And in today's world, it's not like the old world where you state your income and state your assets, and those crazy days are gone. Today, we have to prove the ability to repay. So we have to look at your income, whether it's from your W-2 and pay stub or whether it's from your bank statements. And we do the math, and we have to show that you have an income to debt ratio of something less than 50%, which that number just got raised recently. So that's really good for homeowners or wannabe homeowners. So once again, it's FICO score, equity or down payment, and income to debt ratios.
Now, talk to me a little bit about a bridge loan. What is a bridge loan? How do you go about getting one of those?
I'm so glad you asked me, because I think we're one of the few companies in Colorado, excuse me, that's doing bridge loans these days. And I say that because we have realtors call us and actually loan officers from other mortgage companies and say, I understand you're offering bridge loans. How do those things work? Well, let me give you sort of the Reader's Digest version, Jimmy. Let's say that you want to buy this new house for your family, $500,000, $600,000, whatever it is, but you need to get the equity out of your current home to be able to make the down payment on the new home. So that means that you have to write your offer as this purchase price subject to selling my house. That offer is very hard to get accepted in Colorado these days because the market from $250,000 to $500,000 is really, really hot. So every house that comes on the market, there's going to be 6 or 8 or 10 offers for it. So if I'm a seller, I'm going to look at a cash offer. That's the most appealing to me, right? Mm-hmm. Or if I don't have any cash offers, I'm going to look at an offer that says 20% down, I'm pre-approved, and I don't have to sell my house. So that's appealing. But if you have to sell that house to be able to buy the new house, that offer many times will go to the bottom of the pile and may not even be looked at. So what we do with a bridge loan is we take the value of the home that you want to buy, and we look at the equity that you have in your current house, put those two together, loan you 80% of that. So in many cases, we can give you the cash or the line of credit to go buy that house without having to sell your house. Now you basically have a cash offer in place. So that makes your offer very attractive to that seller. And then, of course, when your home sells, whenever it sells, you can take your time. You don't have to move. You don't have to have that, oh, gosh, where am I going to live for 2 weeks sort of panic in your life. So when that house sells, it pays down the bridge loan, and then we come in and put a permanent loan in behind it. So it works extremely well, especially in Colorado's market.
Now, there's certainly lots of other topics we could be getting into. Unfortunately, we are out of time with you, Larry Jaeger, president of SCL Mortgage. But I do want folks to be able to get in touch with you. Give us your contact info, your website, your phone number. How can people find out more about SCL Mortgage?
Yes, thank you. The phone number is really pretty simple. It's 303-790-2222. But if you're driving, don't try to text it to yourself or anything like that. Our website is real simple. We created a page just for this, so it's myspecialmortgage.com. And that'll get you to our website. That'll get you our phone numbers, emails, all that good stuff to get a hold of us.
Nice and easy, myspecialmortgage.com, because you are the special circumstance lenders, which is nice and easy. SCL Mortgage, special circumstance lender. SCL Mortgage at myspecialmortgage.com. Larry Jaeger, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us this morning on Business for Breakfast.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's take one quick look at our markets. Boy, oh boy, we are 69 points up on the Dow, the NASDAQ up 5, and the S&P 500 is 1.5 points in the green. The VIX, the volatility index, is at 9.64. I'm Jimmy Sengenberger. We will be back, same time, same place, for more engaging, intelligent talk on the issues that matter most to you and your bottom line tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. here on KDMT 1690 AM. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.